and the role of the church. And thank you so much, Bishop, for talking to us here on KTN News Center. So the phenomenon of moral decadence among the youth of Kenya has reached what some people say more unbearable levels actually, owing to what has been witnessed throughout the better part of last week, over the weekend actually. Bishop Wanjohi, if you can hear me.
Yes, good morning. Yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
I can hear you.
Okay, thank you. Bishop, thank you so much for joining us here on KTN News Center. So you're talking about, the moral decadence, what we're seeing in our society. And over last week and for the better part of this week, it's been about the immorality that you're seeing, especially with the young people here in the country. And the phenomenon of moral decadence among the youth of Kenya has reached a stage where people are saying it's unbearable.
Yes, I agree with you. Yes, moral decay among the youth is a dreadful disease for any country. It cuts across many generations because it causes many criminal activities. So it doesn't stop on what they do. And what I'll say, one of the things that is causing this is the parental indifference. Anything that a parent does is right before his children, especially to the teens. And a very good example is what we saw after the secession. When the pubs were opened, we realized that there were some of the older people had to be flushed out of the pubs by the police. And to the teens, that is right.
Right.
They would like to go ahead and exercise it.
All right.
The other thing that I want to say, my sister, is that these youngsters, most of them who are allowed the adolescent, we must agree that the brain of a human being keep on developing up to the age of adolescent. So these are youngsters who require some support systems. And the only people who can support them, one of them is the education sector by reopening schools, the church, and the parents.
All right.
The level of making decision is very low. So they may depend so much on us to guide them. Again, I want to say these are the aftermath of the pandemic. And all of us must agree that when the pandemic struck, we were all devastated. And so I want us to give them some benefit, and we go in handy to help them. We try to support them. We come up with the lessons to teach them on how to grow. We come in to mentor them because these are our tomorrow.
All right.
Again,
so Bishop,
my sister leader,
yes.
We must also agree that idleness is also another factor. It's a principal factor. Somebody said that an idle mind is the devil's workshop. When you are idle and you have a lot of energy, especially to these youngsters who are in the developmental cycle of their life, and they are idle, you can be sure what comes in first is the influence from the social media.
All right,
they
but
are
Bishop,
listening a lot. They are hearing a lot.
Yes, Bishop.
Yes, my sister leader.
Yes, Bishop, thank you so much. You're talking to Brenda.
Yes.
You're talking to Brenda Zeda Radido, but no worries about that. Let's continue having a discussion. And Bishop, it's good you're saying that decline in values in the society as well as lack of proper parental guidance has really played a key role, a major role actually, in what we are seeing right now in our society. But at the same time, are we likely to say that, yes, there are parents who've done all that they can, but the children have decided to take another route in terms of how they want to live their lives. So are we likely there are calls by members of the society, by parents, to actually reopen schools as a way of keeping children sane because they will be busy while in school?
Brenda, I want to respond by saying this. As much as we are agitating for the opening of school, which I support also, let us also agree we have a part to play. As parents, we should take the first possession in mentoring our children and showing them the way. Because let's not just push for the schools to be open that we can dump them there. Let us also be responsible.
Bishop,
and again, we must also agree. Yes.
Bishop, just allow me, just stay with me, but allow me to cut you short. We'll be getting back to this conversation later on, because right now I'd like to hear what the Kenyan Doctors Union officials have to say about the health crisis that is facing the country right now, especially health workers when it comes to matters COVID-19.
We will not allow our members to die on the line of duty. And let me put this clear. And to the CS Health, this narrative that doctors are getting COVID out of hospitals must stop. In fact, we will refer them to the Occupational Safety Health Act. That is why we have that act in such circumstances. Because doctors spend up to 12 and 19 hours in hospitals serving Kenyans. So you cannot come and insult us and tell us that doctors are getting COVID in bars. That is an insult to the profession, and we will not take it lightly. And to two specific counties, and this message must be clear, Laikipia and Kirinyaga counties, the doctors that were unprocedurally dismissed must be reinstated. And for the county governments, we wrote this in the beginning of the pandemic in March. We equally wrote letters again in July, in August and September. So county governments cannot come and say that us demanding a healthcare facility in each county for our members is unrealistic. It is not unrealistic. These are issues that we raised right from the beginning of the pandemic. 8 months, monies were disbursed to counties, but this was never given a priority. So now we are saying that this is an issue that must be addressed comprehensively. We know that one of the counties, Murang'a County, built an ICU in 21 days. So equally, they can construct these isolation and treatment centers for our members. It is not rocket science. This must be done. We will not we are not going to allow any doctor to die because of movement from one county to the next. I think these deaths have been very painful. The lack of oxygen is real in the counties. So we cannot be talking about preparedness for 8 months and nothing is being done on the ground. All you are seeing is PR, isolation and treatment centers, which in fact they closed at some point in August and September. And finally, all these matters would have been easily implemented if we had a Health Services Commission in place. Our position is that we must, if the country will undertake any constitutional amendment, that Health Services Commission must be an issue. You cannot talk about building bridges and then not building bridges with the health workforce in this country. If this sector is not important, then tell us once and for all. But don't take us round in circles. and show us that you're trying to improve the sector, and yet on the other hand, you're not addressing the pertinent issues in this sector. If health sector is not a priority for this government, tell us. We shall equally stay home until such a time that it will be deemed a priority, and we shall avail ourselves to come and offer services. Thank you. Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, tough talking Secretary General of KMPDU, Dr. Chibanzi Mwachonde, talking very toughly, addressing the Ministry of Health, specifically Mutahi Kagwe, the Cabinet Secretary for Health, saying that they demand doctors to be protected during this time of COVID-19. They're saying that they want doctors to be employed because about 988 doctors were employed have never been paid. They're also talking about matters to do with treatment of health workers, specifically doctors who get the COVID-19 virus while on line of duty. They're saying that they want that also to be addressed, doctors to be given health coverage. It is a developing story right there, and we shall be giving you more details during a subsequent bulletin, including Law Mashinani that will begin at exactly 11 a.m. with Nicholas Wambua. But then, let me bring in Bishop Paul Wanjohi of New Life Church. And Bishop, we were talking about, before we took that break from this discussion that we are having right now, we're talking about the role of the Ministry of Education, the role of the church in terms of ensuring that children have the right, actually the young people have the right behavior in our society. But also let's, have a look at the Ministry of ICT, about matters technology. And young people spend a lot of time on the internet accessing a lot of information that some have been saying that it's not good for them to consume. So is there a way that the Ministry of Education, the church, the parents can work very closely with the Ministry of Information just to ensure that the content that young people get on social media is actually regulated?
Thank you very much, my sister Breda. I agree with you that something needs to be done to regulate what is being aired in our media houses and also in the social media at large. And I remember from our Ablera body, we had prepared a document and we were petitioning the film industry to come up with a way of regulating what is being aired. So, because I think it is also playing a major role in at least in influencing our youngsters. So that is something that needs to be done, and I make an appeal. I make an appeal even to the bodies that are concerned to come with a way of trying to control what is being aired. But also, having said that, the church, the education sector, and even the public at large, we also need to come in mentoring our youngsters. Because once we allow them to continue with what they are doing, we are producing criminals, we are producing, I am fearing to use this word, people who cannot be trusted with the families in future. So let God help us to mentor our youngsters.
All right, and Bishop, let's talk about, something really sad that even every viewer who watched that story on KTN News was wondering about. Because some of these children, let's talk about the incident that happened at Mountain View House, where a lady, it's actually a court case right now, and children who were coming as far as coming from Machakos, others from Kiambu, being found in Nairobi County, which begged the question, did these parents know that their children were not at home?
In a funny behavior is a communication. And you cannot give that which you don't have. That tells you the kind of the kind of parents that we have. And also that one also, if you take it further, it will tell you that this is somebody who doesn't have regard for, he doesn't have regard for humanity. So what I would request is this: let us train our youngsters. Not every man wearing a trouser can be trusted as a father. Right. And not every woman, yes, who is elderly can be trusted as a mother.
Right. Right, and Bishop, talk to us exactly, because I know you've handled a lot of parenting classes with probably members of your congregation. So what is parenting? What is really parenting when you're talking about parenting? Because there's some parents who think or feel like when I give my daughter or son what they need, that is parental love. When my daughter says, I need to go see my friends, I don't question who the friends are, that is parental love. So what is parenting as we speak?
Parenting is working with somebody or trying to help somebody see himself in the future. Working with somebody or navigating somebody even through the rough waters. Making a purposeful move to empty yourself in the life of that youngster, because he has never been to where you are. You have conquered where he has not conquered. So that is all about parenting, trying to impact the youngsters with that which they don't have. That is all about parenting, giving them love, providing for them, at least sheltering them, that is through correction, and far and above that, giving them true love.
Right.
And also, people learn more, not through what they are being told, but through what they see.
All right.
We as parents, could it happen that what we are seeing in our youngsters is a reflection of what we are?
In fact,
we also need to take the challenge and we walk right.
In fact, Bishop, I like what you're saying, that parenting involves the community, and can these young people be behaving based on what they see? And when growing up, I remember the child was a child of the community. And when a child made a mistake, a neighbor could correct, probably discipline a bit with a bit of some kiboko here and there. But then right now we are not seeing that, because anytime you'd see probably a neighbor wanting to discipline a child, the mother would run in and, come running, saying that, oh, you cannot just beat my child. We're also seeing caning, actually disciplining in terms of caning has also been banned in schools. This has also somehow contributed to the indiscipline that we're seeing in the society.
That's true. I think Westernization has caught up with us. Even those who are practicing Christianity, whereby we say we are 82%, we are not Christians by practice, but just by title. Because the Bible talks about chastening a child. And a child does not belong to an individual. A child belongs to the community. Because once he or she becomes a criminal, once he or she becomes a prostitute, that becomes a danger. It becomes, it will endanger the entire community. So let God help us. As much as we are in the 21st century, let's not just buy everything that the West is bringing to us.
All right.
Let us be who we are. Let us define ourselves with our culture, and let us not just be Christians by title, but we should be Christian by practice.
All right, as we wind up, Bishop, in a minute, so how can we remove ourselves out of this situation that we are in as a country, especially when it comes to the morality of the young people here in Kenya?
I will say that moral decay among us, the youth, is a dreadful disease. And when a disease has struck, all of us should be up in arms. We try and fight it. And the way out is to be a role model, is to show love to these youngsters, and we take a collective responsibility to collect every child, every youngster that we see allowed. And let us also know that without these youngsters, we don't have a tomorrow. So anybody who loves this nation, anybody who thinks that we have a tomorrow, we have a duty and a responsibility of helping our youngsters, not just by condemning them, not just by, by being harsh on them, but being a role model and showing them love. Some of them just want to be listened to. Let's come in and we listen to them. We listen to them.
All right. Bishop Paul Wanjohi of New Life Church, thank you so much for your sentiments when it comes to the moral decadence, what we're seeing in our country right now. Bringing me to the end of KTN News Center, developing stories here in the country. Nicholas Wambua at 11 a.m. during Leo Mashinani will bring you up to date in a Swahili language. My name is Brenda Zedaradido. Thank you so much for watching, and thanks to the men and women behind the scene who make KTN News Center a success. Enjoy the rest of your viewing. See you tomorrow, God willing.